Hey guys, welcome back to Input, and in this video, this is going to be a top 5 list by popular request on a live stream. I had a bunch of people in my comment section hit me up and say, hey Input, you know it'd be really cool if you did a top 5 Hasbro Combiner Wars style top 5 list. And that's what I'm giving you. So what is Combiner Wars style? Well, that goes over Combiner Wars, Power of the Primes, all that stuff. Basically the most recent Hasbro combiners. And this is my top 5. So, as you can see, we got Minosaur up first. And we're going to be counting down from 5 to 1. So, the worst to the best. And this is all my opinion. So, take it with a grain of salt. If you guys agree with me, awesome. If you don't, awesome. It's all gravy to me, baby. So, let's dig into this. Or my top 5. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Maybe that was 6 times. Anyway, I was trying to do a Booker T thing. Oh well. Is what it is. My top 5 Combiner Wars style Hasbro combiners. We're going to dig into this right after that intro ends. So, give me about 15 seconds, and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, guys. Now that the intro's out of the way and you had to sit through that for another 15 seconds or so, why do I have 2 versions of Minosaur up here? Well, obviously one is the G2, Combiner Wars G2 box set Minosaur, and the other one is the retail version Minosaur. And he does have some custom paint work, at least the Motor Master does at the very least. I didn't repaint or touch up anybody else. Now this one also has the Perfect Effects upgrade kit versus the standard non-upgrade kit what you get from Hasbro. Now this one is also mistransformed. It is in a bit of a fan mode with the legs. Normally the legs, per the instructions, are told, you're told to transform them outward like this. You transform them and you hark them down. It's just a mess. And as you can see, he's already starting to fall apart. So, and there you go. That right there just shows what my biggest issue with this entire mold is that it's not the legs. The legs are fixable, as you can see. All you got to do is spin him around and he gets a front knee bend, and it's kind of weird, but at least that's fixable. Blackjack here is the issue. Why is it the issue? Because he falls off all the time. And what the problem is that these pegs right here that he sits on in the chest actually are wider at a certain point than the peg hole on Blackjack. So there's no real security for him to hold on to. Now there is a mod out there where you shave down that the width of the peg, and that does secure him. The problem I find though, it's a time issue. This Minosaur I did that mod to, not this one. And, so watch this. He still does it. I shaved down the pegs, and he still falls off. Now, this is a more recent problem. He did sit up there for a while just fine, and he was relatively tight. But as you can see, now he doesn't even want to stay on. So we'll just keep both Blackjacks on the ground, and we'll close this chest up. He is an optional piece anyway, and he does give Minosaur the rest of his chest, his G1 style chest. But as you can see right here, you can start to see the custom paint work that I did. The brighter purple windshield and the brighter purple lines kind of invoke that Unite Warriors look. I am a bigger toy guy, Transformer toy guy, than I am a show Transformers show accurate guy. I do prefer the toy look versus the show look, but there was something about that Takara Unite Warriors purple line absolutely spoke to me, so I decided to add it in. Now the reason why I have both of these guys sitting up here is to show you the difference of what you can have versus what you can have. You can buy the upgrade kit from Perfect Effects, plus the Unite Warriors box set or the G2 box set, or you can even go on eBay and buy this guy by himself. Doesn't really matter. But this is to show you what you can have versus what you can have. And honestly, I really think that this guy comes together perfectly with the Perfect Effect upgrade kit. I really think that there is no better Minosaur on the market so far that we've seen. I know Fans Toys and I know X-Transbots are releasing theirs, and as soon as those come out, I'm going to try and do a comparison of the two as best as I can. But this is really the only Minosaur that to me is worth getting, and I know a lot of people are probably gonna hate me for saying that, but even with the Perfect Effect upgrade kit, Perfect Effect still has its flaws. They use ball joints in the feet instead of a ratchet in the feet. So my suggestion to you guys, since you can find these kits now on eBay separately for a lot cheaper, they are Perfect Effect knockoffs, but you can find the kits a lot cheaper. I found mine. Mine is not the Perfect Effects branded one. It is actually a knockoff. I don't know if it's Perfect Effect putting them out on eBay under a different name or whatever. It's called Perfect Combiner. If you guys can find it on eBay, it's there. But I totally suggest getting this centerpiece and the sword centerpiece to stretch out that sword. As you can see, there is a difference lengthwise between the two swords. This looks more menacing to me than that one. That looks like it can do a lot more damage than that one. But I would honestly get the Computron box set hands and feet from Hasbro and paint those purple if you're going to go with the set, simply because of the ratchets in the feet. That's really it. If you guys can find the feet on their own, that's awesome. But if you find them as a set, just buy the set, paint them purple, and put them on Minosaur. And that's really it. So, Minosaur is my number 5. And it's a very difficult number 5. Because of all the added stuff that you have to get for him in order for him to look like this versus like this. So, it's really up to you guys if you want to go through all of this, getting the Perfect Effect kits and doing all that stuff. If you really want to go through all this, it's totally up to you. I think it's worth it. I think he looks awesome. So, up to you. Okay, guys, here we have my number 4 combiner. And that's Abominus. I love the way this guy looks. I love the way that this guy came out. My only ever complaint with any of these Hasbro Takara combiners, honestly, are always going to be the feet. What are those? Sorry. It's an old joke at this point. But the feet are always a little too small for the combiner. And the sad thing is, this guy came out after the Hasbro Computron box set did. What were they thinking? All they had to do was give us these feet in that maroon purple color, and then give us the hands that matched it, those big clunky fists, and it would have been fine. But I do love the way that this guy came out. He looks awesome. He looks like Abominus. He looks like I remember Abominus looking. Sorry for all the camera adjustment, guys. These guys are pretty big for my setup, so it's going to be a little difficult. So bear with me on the camera movement. But this guy is awesome. This guy is a remold of the Silverbolt from Combiner Wars. So yes, he does flip upside down just like Silverbolt, and he does peg in on the fist down here and on the arms and stuff. But I really think that it is a really good remold. Actually, Takara thought it was so good that we're actually getting Seacons from Abominus. That's right, they are remolding Abominus and making him into Turtler. I mean, that's awesome. So, number 4 is definitely Abominus, and that is, from here on out, 4 on down. Number 5 was easy for me to put Minosaur there. Really easy. Because of all the problems that the figure had when it came out. And all you have to do in order to get him to the perfect mode. See what I did there? But he just looks so good out of the box that you really don't need to do anything. There are upgrade kits for him, but I don't feel like the upgrade kits are necessary. I do feel like maybe some perfect effects, hands and feet, because the feet are so small. But if you can find the feet by themselves, I don't mind the hands being the same color as the bots themselves. I kind of dig that look. But as always, it always boils down to the feet with this guy. Well, with any of these Hasbro combiners, I just honestly think the feet are always too small. Now, that being said, like I said, number 4 on down, they're going to be really, really hard for me to put on the spot. Because, like I said, Abominus is really, really well done for what they had to work with. He came out awesome. And that's how I feel about most of these guys. So, Abominus is my number 4. And really, if I really had to choose, it's mainly because of the color layout. The chest area looks really, really good. And on top of that, you can put your Power of the Primes, Enigma, whatever they were calling these things, in there in the chest just like that. And you can flip it open and have it open. But I usually keep mine in there and just keep it closed. I know it's in there, so it is what it is. But yeah, Abominus, he's my number 4. So let's move on to number 3. Okay, guys, here we have my number 3. Hasbro's Combiner Wars Bruticus. Why? Because he looks awesome. He looks like Bruticus. He is a really good toy rendition of Bruticus. I love how this guy came out. And honestly, I do have the Perfect Effects kit on him as well. So you see the guns in the head and the hands and the feet. Again, I feel like these guys need at least the hands and the feet for the upgrade. And that's just Hasbro's combiners in general. The mini hand and foot gun, I think, was a great idea. However, just really poorly implemented. There is some custom paint on this guy as well. As you can see, I did put some black into the, I guess, the gated area and do some panel lining right here on his chest to kind of break it up. And I did add the black right here on his face. But, again, the Perfect Effects is almost needed for these guys. But they still come in under what you would spend for, say, any third-party venture at this point. Yes, Zeta has a Bruticus, and that Bruticus is huge. He's almost Fort Max size. He is humongous. But you got to look at the price points that you guys are paying for this stuff. Zeta, $500-$600 combiner versus Hasbro's right here, probably run you anywhere between $100 $150, and that's with the upgrade kit. So, really depends on how you guys look at it. But this guy is a remold of Combiner Wars Hotspot. They basically took Hotspot, they spun him around, the back became the front became the back, and that's what Onslaught was made out of. The chest piece has been completely remolded. He doesn't have the ladder, obviously, why would he? But the thing that I like about this guy is that there are layouts. There are 5mm pegs all over the place, so you can put weaponry all over Bruticus. So here I have Blastoff's gun there. I've got Brawl's gun or Vortex's gun there. I have Swindle's gun right here. There are many places to really kind of beef this guy up and make him look a little bit more intimidating. The cool thing about him is, if you bought that Combiner Wars Shockwave that came out, you could actually transform Shockwave to his gun mode and clip him on the back and have this even bigger cannon back here. And he could also hold it in the original hands. Yes, I said the original hands because the Perfect Effects doesn't hold Shockwave. You actually have to modify Shockwave to get this Bruticus to hold him. However, that being said, you probably wouldn't get him to hold him anyway because Shockwave is so heavy that it ends up just falling and Bruticus just stands there like this with the giant Shockwave right there. So, it's up to you if you guys wanted to go that route, but Bruticus here, and this is any version of Bruticus, the G2 version, the Unite Warriors version or the Hasbro version of this mold. I will say that I do like the blue that they used for the Takara version, the Unite Warriors version. The blue really pops. And like I said, this one is more toy accurate. I do prefer the toy accurate look over the show. However, that blue on that Onslaught, looks so good. It is ridiculous. So, go whichever route you want. If you want the Unite Warriors, the G2, or the G1 toy, it's totally up to you. Do whichever one you think is best for you and your collection. Lastly, they did release a jet in Combiner Wars, or not a jet, excuse me, a space shuttle for Blastoff here. The entire reason why Blastoff was a plane here is because it is an homage to what he was originally going to be before someone at Hasbro stepped in and said, no, 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 the Decepticons have too many jets, make him a space shuttle instead. Amazon, they did release the space shuttle in toy accurate mode. So if you do have the toy version, like this here, you don't like Blastoff being a jet, then you can get the space shuttle for him. A lot of people originally, they were buying that Unite Warriors box set because of the space shuttle. I really don't think they cared one way or the other about toon accuracy or toy accuracy. They just wanted it to be a space shuttle. Me, I like the fact that this is an homage to what he was originally going to be, a jet. I don't mind that we got the space shuttle later. I really don't. We did get it in toy accurate colors. So now we have the Blastoff that goes to this set in toy accurate and show accurate colors, but we also have an homage to Blastoff for what he was going to be before the space shuttle. So essentially we have all three versions of Blastoff. And they also did this as Ruination. Yes, that's right. Ruination got a Unite Warriors release, and it also comes with the space shuttle. It comes with Movor, and that's cool. And a lot of people for that G2 set will buy Movor on its own, repaint it purple, to have purple spots instead of black spots, and put that as the space shuttle for their G2, which options are everywhere for this guy, and I feel like he is the most versatile combiner that Hastak has released. So he is my number 3 for all of those reasons, and he is a hard number 3. He could have easily been number 2. But speaking of number 2, let's take a look at that. Okay guys, here's my number 2. That is Combiner Wars Superion. This guy, oh man, this guy is awesome. What Hasbro was able to do, Hastak was able to do with this mold is glorious. And I don't mean regular glorious. I mean Bobby Roode glorious. This is awesome. This is how I feel like you do a jet combiner. You got Alpha Bravo. He's a new figure. He's a new character. A lot of people were upset about him being there. A lot of people were upset that Takara got the original G1 Jet Squadron for Superion. Again, I don't mind it because it wasn't Generation 1. It was Combiner Wars. It's an homage to Generation 1. So I don't mind that we got a 6th aerial bot. We did, however, get a Quick Slinger to go with this set, but unfortunately, he is in that $70 to $100 price range, and I unfortunately do not have him. A lot of people bought the Unite Warrior set to get the G1 complete accurate thing. I went with what I could find because when Quickslinger came out, I just didn't have the money to order him off of Big Bad Toy Store because he was a BBTS exclusive, if I remember correctly, but I do remember him being an internet exclusive to either Entertainment Earth or BBTS. I do want to say BBTS for sure. Now, this figure, just like all the other figures, has the Perfect Effects upgrade kit. I originally just bought the hands and feet because this guy came with black hands and feet. I wasn't too excited about the black hands and feet, especially after seeing the Unite Warriors white ones. The white hands and feet just brought this entire look all together. It really, really helped what this figure was trying to accomplish. So I originally bought just the hands and the feet, the white ones. Then I decided, after watching a few videos on the head and this front torso piece, I decided to go ahead and go back and buy the head and the torso piece for this. And I'm really glad that I did. It really, really broadens him up. It really brings out the dynamic character that is this figure. Now, this figure looks wonderful with just the hands and just the feet. I'll show you here. It's an easy clip-on. This guy looks great with just the hands and just the feet. I mean, that looks cool to me. The only reason why, like I said, I went back and got this is because it beefs him out. Now, this does have a few issues on it. It doesn't allow the chest to fully close. So what ends up happening is that the chest and these center arm sections right here end up getting a little wobbly. But for the most part, he just stands on a shelf in my office, and that's really what he does. So he looks great without the perfect effects. He looks great with the perfect effects. You really can't go wrong with Superion. And the great thing is, Takara last year re-released their Unite Warrior set. So if you really wanted a quick slinger and you didn't want to spend that extra $100 on quick slinger, you could totally go that route. Now, the weird thing with this guy is that if you bought this entire set, this entire setup plus quick slinger, you're starting to get into that third-party territory as far as Zeta, Superion, and all that stuff goes. You really have to question at that point, which one do you want? And for all you scale junkies out there, Superion is supposed to be as big as Predaking. So, that's right. Predaking, the Titan class Predaking, Superion is supposed to be that size. He's supposed to be huge. So if you go with Zeta, and you're a scale junkie, and you have that Power of the Primes Predaking, that Titan class Predaking, then you're golden. You got your scale right there all together. If you're more of a chug collector and you don't really care about scale, then this one should be right up your alley. It does come in a little bit cheaper with the upgrades and with everything, especially if you go with the Unite Warrior set if you don't care about Alpha Bravo. Alpha Bravo himself is an easy $30 figure now. So prices are starting to get up there for the aerial bots, for Combiner Wars, Unite Warriors. So it's really up to you on how you wanted to pursue a Superion. But Superion here for Combiner Wars is my number 2. And my number 1 had to be, obviously, Unite Warriors Computron. This guy just nails it. He nails everything about Computron. He looks awesome. The whole reason why I went for this one over the Hasbro version is because the Hasbro version's chest is the same as Superion's and the head is the same as Superion's. I don't mind if they color them the same, but at least give me a different head. I mean, it's supposed to be Computron. It's not Betatron at that point. It's supposed to be Computron. Give me a different head at the very least. So I went with the Unite Warriors one, and I'm glad I did. Nose cone here alone is worth the purchase. So what they did here, they retooled Rook, Combiner Wars Rook. They did not use Combiner Wars Brawl like Hasbro did. Takara used Rook, and they remolded him, and I think it comes out better this way than what Hasbro decided to do. Now, Hasbro decided to use the Streetwise mold, and Takara went with the Combiner Wars Wheeljack mold for Lightspeed here, and I think that was probably the wrong decision on Takara's part, just because of the whole hip situation here with Lightspeed. But what's really cool is that Strafe here is a remold of the Blastoff that Unite Warriors had. So, like I was saying earlier, the Space Shuttle, the Combiner Wars Space Shuttle for Blastoff, that got remolded into Strafe here, and it is awesome. It is done extremely, extremely well. this figure overall just pulls together extremely well. Again, the only thing that's wrong with it are the feet. The feet are so small. But this is the only Combiner Wars style figure that I do not have some kind of upgrade kit for. Honestly, Abominus has the upgraded hands and feet coming in the mail here within the next week or so. I finally broke down and I bought those. But this guy doesn't have anything. And I'm honestly okay with him not having an upgrade kit on him. He just looks so good. He looks the part. He looks wonderful. And that's why he's my number one. They nailed it. Takara hit this one out of the park with this. The box set is awesome. The comic that comes with this set is awesome. And the fact that it comes with a gun that you can combine and put all of their guns onto if you wanted to is just, say it with me now, awesome. So that's why he's my number one. It just really wasn't a no-brainer. Even the stuff that they decided to reuse that they didn't remold, like these two guys, it comes out so good. It's so good. So even, Afterburner here, it's supposed to be a futuristic style motorcycle. And I really think that it pulls it off. It is a remold of the Combiner Wars Groove Deluxe Groove mold, but I think it pulls it off very well. It added this extra lengthy windshield, but everything else remains the same. But it adds that extra length on the windshield to give it that more sleek, futuristic motorcycle look. So for all of those reasons, and then plus the back here is really cool. The back just comes together really well. Now, I will say that my only complaint with this is, again, the cannon for this guy doesn't come up past the head. That's how it was in Generation 1, and I'm not a G1 junkie or anything, and like I said earlier, this is an homage to Generation 1. It is Unite Warriors. It is not Generation 1, so the cannon doesn't have to come up this far. But I feel like the cannon coming up higher than the head is a huge part of Computron's silhouette, and that's the only part that is missing from this entire figure. But he is a simple, awesome figure that just came out so good, and that's why he's my number one. Okay, guys, final thoughts on all of these guys. I know I said there's going to be 5, and I did 5, but I can't fit 5 into the shot, so I decided to go with 3. I went with Unite Warriors, I went with Computron, Bruticus, and Abominus. So, final thoughts on all of Hastak's combiners thus far. This list might change after the C-Cons come out. The C-Cons might take the number 1 spot, and if that is the case, if that does end up happening, then that would put Computron at number 2, and that would knock Minosaur down to number 6, and knock Minosaur off the list altogether. However, we're not there yet, but if we do get there, that might happen. So, final thoughts on all these guys. If you have to pick up just one figure, one set, it would definitely boil down to your personal choice, but my suggestion would have to be the Unite Warriors, Computron, or Superion. The way that they did that is just awesome. The way that they accomplished this is just really, really cool. The entire jet rotates, turns upside down, and the thighs are the arms for this guy. For the main torso guy, these are the arms in robot mode. These are his legs. So they flipped them upside down, and they slammed them down, and the arms slammed together. I just think that was a really cool idea, a really neat piece of engineering. Now, with all of the new combiners coming out, with the new Minosaur from Fans Toys, with Zeta and his Fan Toys Superion, and Zeta's Bruticus and Superion, and all that other stuff, should you guys, if you already have them, start to think about upgrading and doing all that stuff with these guys? That's really up to you. I would definitely say no, just simply because I'm not the upgrade person. I'm not the guy who sells a figure to get the same figure. I'm the guy who goes out and buys that figure, even though I've already got 15 Optimus Primes. I'm going to go out and buy a 16th Optimus Prime. That's just how I am. I like having different representations of each figure. I like seeing what they were able to do, what was going through the designer's mind, what they were thinking about whenever they were designing this figure, what their homages were and stuff. I like seeing that, and I like seeing callbacks to older era and different figures and stuff like that. That being said, if you are an upgrade guy or you just want to have one combined team, truthfully, if you're looking at either any combined team, like I said, it would definitely have to be Superion or Computron. But again, it goes back to what you think looks best and what fits your collection best. If you are just solely a Masterpiece collector and everything, then maybe you're looking forward to Fans Toys and what they're doing. Maybe you already have a Zeta Bruticus. Maybe you're excited for the Toon Bruticus from Zeta that's coming out and all that good crazy stuff. However, this is really your only way to get a decent Abominus. I know they did a third-party one. I don't remember. I think it was DX9, maybe. I don't remember who did the third-party Abominus. But my understanding, I don't have that figure, but my understanding is that figure wasn't that good. So, if you like what you see, if you're a Chug collector, honestly, like I said, I'll say it one more time. If you are a Chug collector and you're in for one of these, if you have enough money to get one of these, Unite Warriors, Superion, Combiner Wars Superion, or Unite Warriors Computron. Computron here, the Unite Warriors version, be forewarned, is a lot more expensive than the Combiner Wars one. And the Combiner Wars one comes with a lot more stuff. So, it's up to you which version you like. But I like the way that these guys hold together. They feel pretty solid for the most part, especially in the joint area where they connect. This is just giant square peg that gets pressed in there, and it's spring loaded, so it sits down. There's enough force to hold it in there. So these guys do feel fairly solid whenever they're put together. So yeah, that'll do it for this video, guys. That is my top 5 Combiner Wars style combiners. There are more combiners out there. I didn't even talk about Defensor or Victorion or even any of the G2 sets that you can find, or a number of the Unite Warriors sets that you can find, such as the Unite Warriors Minosaur and the Unite Warriors Ruination from RID. Didn't talk about any of those guys. So, go out there, take a look, rummage on eBay, find your best deals, and I'll see you next video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Be kind to each other. And have a good night, day, evening, afternoon, whatever it is that you guys are watching this. Make the most out of it. Stay positive. I'll see you guys next video. And as always, cut it out. Later, guys.